and I'm a Peace Corps volunteer in Mozambique, Africa.
You're a good soldier, choosing your battles. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off and back in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know it's serious, we're getting closer, this isn't over. The pressure's on, you feel it, but you got it all, believe it. When you fall, get up, oh, oh, and if you fall, get up, eh, eh. Samina, mina, sangalewa, 'cause this is Africa. Samina, mina, eh, eh, waka, waka, eh, eh. Samina, mina, sangalewa, this time for Africa.
The Peace Corps was started in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy as a way for young Americans to give back to their country by helping people in developing countries around the world. Since then, over 215,000 volunteers have served in more than 139 countries. Peace Corps' mission is to promote world peace and friendship by accomplishing 3 simple goals. Number 1, helping the people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained men and women. 2, helping promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the peoples served. And 3, helping to promote a better understanding of other peoples on the part of Americans.
Na memória de África e do mundo, pátria bela dos ousaram lutar. Moçambique, o teu nome é liberdade. O sol de junho para sempre brilhará. Moçambique, nossa terra gloriosa. Pedra a pedra construindo um novo dia. Milhões de braços, uma só força. Oh, pátria amada, vamos vencer.
Mozambique is on the southeast coast of Africa, and its bordering countries are Swaziland, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, and Tanzania. The country is separated into 10 different provinces: Maputo, Inhambane, Gaza, Sofala, Manica, Zambezia, Tete, Nampula, Cabo Delgado, and Niassa. I'm lucky enough to live in Inhambane province, known affectionately as the Terra de Boa Gente, land of good people, famous for its beautiful beaches, coconuts, cashews, and mangoes. 100 miles away from the beautiful coast, down a long, bumpy dirt road, out in the middle of nowhere, you will find my site and home, my boat. The official language of Mozambique is Portuguese, which is spoken mostly as a second language by about half the population. However, there are over 40 different local languages that are spoken within the country, and the language used varies from region to region.
Forte, passarinho, voe para você.
Logo meninas, vashinhanyana, ansa, anzetulwe.
Mozambican culture is very different from our own, and because of that, it would be extremely hard for me to list every single difference. So instead, I'm going to share 3 differences that stood out the most when I first got here. In the States, answering your cell phone in the middle of a meeting would be seen as rude. But in Mozambique, people have no problem just flipping out their phone, checking their messages, or answering calls right in the middle of meetings or in conversations. In Mozambique, peanuts are used a lot with coconut in order to make a type of sauce that vegetables are then cooked in, and these are my favorite dishes. We also have a lot of fruits that can't be found in the United States, such as masalas and nosas. The last difference is servido culture. In servido culture, whenever a person is eating or about to eat, they will turn to you and say servido, which means served. And that is their way of offering to share their food with you. And it doesn't matter how much or how little food the person has, and they're not just saying it to be polite and expecting you to, say, no thank you, I'm fine, I don't want any. They genuinely want to share their food, and this sort of says a lot about Mozambican culture and just the way that people see each other as being all a part of the same community, and people really look out for each other and genuinely care and want to share everything that they have with each other, even if it's not very much.
Yes, education is different in Mozambique. Three of the most prominent differences are class size, resource availability, and course load. An average class, or turma, of students in Mozambique will consist of 50 or more students. These 50 students all sit in an average-sized classroom, sharing desks with 2 or more of their peers, or even sometimes sitting on the floor. At the beginning of the school year, each student is given a number. When the student calls roll, the numbers are read aloud, and students respond when theirs is called. Camila Medina becomes student number 23. Classroom resources, another major difference between classrooms in the States and in Mozambique. Classrooms consist of desks and a chalkboard. That is it. Teachers generally will dictate to their students what they'd like them to copy down in their notebooks, and that's what students use. There are no posters, there are no projectors, there are no whiteboards, there are no cubbies for your backpacks, there's no lockers, and more importantly, there's no textbooks. A teacher might be the only person within 50 miles that has ever actually seen a biology textbook. In America, students focus on one type of science or choose one language to study for a year or maybe even for a semester. Here in Mozambique, students study up to 4 languages and 3 or more sciences at the same time. My 8th grade students take physics, chemistry, and biology, as well as Portuguese, French, English, and the local language, Xiswa. Taking so many classes at the same time causes confusion and makes it difficult for students to understand important concepts. While Mozambican education is facing many challenges, students are willing and determined to learn. More and more Mozambicans are going on to further their education after high school and making going to school a priority in their own families. As an American, I have never been more thankful for the educational opportunities that I have received. I've had passionate teachers, encouragement to chase my academic pursuits, and resources to make learning fun. Força Mozambique! Oye!
There are many modern cities in Mozambique, most of which are provincial capitals, such as the capital of my province, Inhambane City. The biggest city in Mozambique is Maputo, which is the capital of the country. As a health volunteer, I have been placed with an NGO, a CBO, and the local hospital. My main job is to help the 3 work together in order to improve the health of our community. The majority of my work is done alongside my CBO, Sembeka Wasati, which is Xitswa for Trustworthy Women. One of our main functions is working with HIV-positive patients. Each week, members of my CBO track down 10 to 20 people that have abandoned HIV treatment and counsel them back to the hospital. In addition to our HIV work, we also visit surrounding villages and give health presentations on topics such as malaria, TB, and nutrition in order to help community members maintain healthy lifestyles. As a side project, in order to provide more funds for our work, Sembeka Wasapi roasts and sells cashews to our community. When we're not doing health presentations or house visits, we spend our days in the office, where I get to work directly with health activists, teaching them things such as writing in Portuguese, how to manage finances, and how to use a computer. Helping people and seeing the difference that you make, no matter how small it is, feels absolutely amazing. It feels like all of those hours of studying, all of those years in school, all of that education, it's being used. This is what it was supposed to be used for, and there isn't a better feeling in the world. Adjusting to life here was hard, and I expected that. But surprisingly, after the first few months, things quickly got very easy. I think that people have a great ability to acclimate to many different situations, whether it's learning how to wash clothes by hand, balance things on your head, how to cook local food, learning how to deal with, wildlife that isn't very pleasant. We're able to adjust. And I had a lot of people along the way that were very patient with me, and I'm very lucky to have had them there to help me. So my daily routine varies a lot. I don't really have a set schedule, which is great. I prefer it that way. But in general, I'll wake up early in the mornings. Morning time is sort of my time to relax. I'll have my coffee, I'll check Facebook, I'll read a bit or watch a TV show. And once I'm ready and fully awake, I'll leave the house. I'll either go to the hospital and do some work at the hospital, or I will go to the org, meet up with my counterpart, do some paperwork, and then in the afternoons I'll go out with the activistas, with the health activists, and we'll do field work, so going out to the different communities and looking for the patients that have abandoned their treatment, going and making sure that patients that are still on their treatment are taking their medicine correctly. Typically after that, I'll go to the market, I'll buy produce in order to make dinner, then I'll go home, I'll meet up with my site mate, we'll start cooking dinner together, and then we'll eat dinner, watch a movie, and it's pretty much the end of my day. It's very simple living, but there's something really comforting about that. I absolutely cannot choose one best experience. I tried for a long time to think about it, but it's hard. There's been too many. I think that in general, the experiences I enjoy the most are the simplest ones, like going to a coworker's house and just sitting and talking to them for hours in Portuguese, or bumping into friends when I'm walking to the market and having, small conversations with them. I think every moment where I feel like I belong, where I feel like I'm at home, those are my best experiences. I've learned a lot of things during my year out here, but two stick out the most. One is that I've learned to be more appreciative and not take things for granted, whether it's family and friends back home or things like carpet and refrigerators. I've learned to be grateful for everything. And the second thing would be to just enjoy each moment. I've learned how to be present and not constantly be on my cell phone, not be thinking about the past, not be planning for, years in the future. Just to enjoy the moment that you're in with the people that you're with. Out here, I live pretty simply. I do not have running water, therefore I need to get water out of a pump that's nearby about once or twice a week. Luckily, I do have electricity, and I also live in my own house. So this is the quintal that I live in, and a quintal is basically just a small little compound with a bunch of different houses. This here is my house. My house, the walls are made out of kanisu, or sort of, I guess, dried sticks. So you can see here. And the roof is made out of capinha, or basically straw. So you can see my house is just one big round hut. I have my kitchen area there, a little closet, got a fridge 2 months ago. You have my bed, which is not made, I apologize. And then it just goes around again to the windows, my little table. So yeah, that's the inside of my house. Bathroom area is actually outside my house. We walk out here. And this little building right here is my bathroom area. I do have my own private bathroom, so I keep it locked. Here, the first door, if I can get it open. So the first door here is my shower area. It's just a little square room. Come in here, close the door. We have all my shower stuff here, and you just fill a bucket full of water, and you use this little scooper to get the water and sort of toss it on yourself. And we go out again. And right on the other side, there's a second door. You go in, and this is my latrine. It's basically just a hole in the floor, and this is where, you do your business. I have a nice little toilet seat for added comfort. When it comes to medical supplies, Peace Corps provides everything that we need. However, when it comes to household items, groceries, and things like that, we do have to go out and buy them on our own. And in order to do that, I go to my local market. Something I realized very quickly is that there's surprisingly a lot of free time in Peace Corps. And I like to pass my free time by walking around my town. I like to go to the market and buy new clothes, buy capellanas, which is just great patterned fabric. I like to go to the bakery and have a cold soda, hang out with my site mate Sarah. And I love cooking and trying to make new things with, the few resources or the few ingredients that I have here. From a very young age, I have been aware of all the sacrifices that my parents have made in order for me and my siblings to have access to a good education, to be able to build a future for ourselves. And I think that because of that, we're in a very privileged position. And in general, in the United States, we have access to all of these amazing resources and to education. And I think it's important that people that are in this position give back. And, you know, it doesn't have to be joining the Peace Corps. It can be doing community service back at home, you know, going to a local high school and tutoring. Just small things that help out a community. And to me, community service is a way to give back and say thank you to my parents for all the sacrifices that they've made. Of course, I get homesick. It's something that I think is very normal. And it's something that happened a lot more often my first few months here. But now that I'm a year in, it happens less often. And I think that the biggest reason for that is the people that are now in my life. There are people out here that have become my second family. People that care about me, that I care about, that I share so many memories with now. And it's these people that make it easy to be away from my loved ones. And it's these people that make my service worth it.
Lo Mozambique ayeni mahlweni ayeni mahlweni lo Mozambique ayeni mahlweni ayeni duruvuma amabutu ayeni mahlweni ayeni ikolo leko ayeni mahlweni ayeni ikolo leko ayeni mahlweni ayeni mahlweni lo Mozambique ayeni mahlweni ayeni ikolo leko ayeni mahlweni ayeni duruvuma maputu ayeni mahlweni ayeni la 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 shoo la 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 shoo shoo la 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 ilo Mozambique ayeni mahlweni ayeni ikulu leko ayeni mahlweni